he's getting it now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Metal Customs. Out here today back on the 68 Mustang project, and guess what? Supposed to be, all of our front end parts have arrived. We're fixing to unbox them, and this is really cool. Cody's here. Just step over this way a little bit.
What's up, guys?
And Cody's the one that owns this Mustang and hired me to do this, that, and other thing. So he's going to be like a kid at Christmas, because I ordered all this stuff and he don't really know what I ordered. He just took my word that I ordered something. Boxes came, so very well did. But let's just grab them, get them, tear them open, and see what we got. Okay. Rock and roll. Now that we opened up everything, let's see if we can figure out how it all goes together. Alright guys, here's the way we do it. We pulled the cherry picker, as you can see. And we run this until we got the cherry picker level. Then we put our laser on there, which has a level on it. Now we run down to our tape marks on each side, because remember, the car is not sitting perfectly square on the lift. Our tape marks is our 108 inches from the back wheel up to there. Now that everything's perfectly level, the car's level, the frame's level, cherry picker's level, the laser's level. So that tells us where our exact center line is on this car and on our frame down there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, we've already got that marked, little dash dot lines I put on there. So we were 1/8 of an inch off to begin with, which wouldn't have killed anything, but still we want to be dead on the money. Alright, well, we're going to turn the lights back on, move this stuff out of the way, and carry on. Alright, now that we have our center line, what we're going to do, there is plates that you can have to box the frame up. I've seen some people not use them. I've seen some people just grab the cross member, notch it, and weld it to the existing frame. And I reckon that's fine, each to their own. Myself, I want to use these, and these have a cutout so that the coil spring has enough room to come through from the frame. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to cut this here, and I'm going to cut this here, and just cut this lip out of the way and see how far these come in, because there's this piece that goes in there, as you can see, and welds it all up, and that's our little cutout there. But let's go ahead, we're going to cut these out and check that idea first, versus you see how that's marked over there, versus cutting all of that and then setting it into the frame. This design will be stronger, so we'll try it first. Got this ready. Got the slip cut off, got the notch cut out. Get everything cleaned. I got plenty of the weld through primer. See, that one sits right there. I'll do this all with one hand. Of course, it all get clamped together and welded up really nice. And basically, that one sits in like that. And then this one will come up on the bottom just for a little bit of extra support. Hey, that works. That works. Alright guys, that actually took a while to do that. The plasma cutter started messing up a little bit on me. Had to deal with that, but finally got these cut. So, may have to do a little bit of more grinding, who knows. But we'll get these fitted in here and get them all welded up. Then, we can do some measurements and stuff, get ready for the cross member itself. I am welding away, and so far so good. Yeah, I know, them are some big welds. I'm going for strength, not looks with these welds. I'll grab the old grinder here and dress them up after I get through. But, like I say, I want strength. I don't want this front end to ever have an issue whatsoever. Alright, now I'm fixing to raise it up. I've got my bottom plates cleaned up and sprayed with the weld-through primer. We'll get them in place and get them welded. A lot of grinding, guys, but we're getting there. It's coming along really well. Yep, got some of the top here, but I'm finna call it a day. We'll get back out here tomorrow and grind some more. Finally, got a lot of grinding done, cleaning up, and I have my primer on there. We did get the bottom taken care of. Bottom plate on each side. These turned out pretty good. Like I say, the biggest thing was I wanted good strong welds, yet I wanted to grind it down and make it look decent too, which I did. I mean, you won't really see a whole lot of this once the car is put together, but you will see this top section when you open up the hood, and that's why I paid special attention to that. We'll get like that little spot there, maybe a couple over there that we need to get. But all in all, that looks good. It turned out good. And now I'm waiting for the primer to dry. Now I got to figure out my math so I know where to cut this cross member and get it up in there and get it welded. Let's rock it. Next thing I done, got my cross member notched out. Getting ready to slide it up into my frame. Now guys, there's a lot of math going on there, and I'm not going to go over it because depending on the kit you have, how you're setting up your vehicle, there's so many variables. I highly suggest do like I did. Go to the page of the company that you bought the item from, whichever one you pick up, whatever brand, and go by their directions, and additionally catch a few videos of some other people doing it, because the way you notch this is your ride height, which is very important. So if you want to slam one, you know, of course you're going to notch it in there a little bit deeper. I'm going for almost a stock height here, a little bit of a custom setup. But I got that cut, cleaned up, and got the weld-through primer on it. I got me a straight tube sitting up here top, if you'll notice that, with my level on it, because everything's level. Now what I'm going to do is just drop the lift down and bring that up through where it's just barely touching the frame and check the level. Then we'll crank up the laser again and run it across here, because there is some what you call center lines on that cross member. They're scribed in, so we'll recheck that as well. It's a live and learn situation, of course. What I did, I measured this frame inside to inside. It's 27.5. I wasn't thinking, but there's plates on here. So that lessened it some. So the frame now, $27.25. So I need to take an 1/8 inch off all four of these side judges. Trying to get this center line just so perfect. I got the laser set up again, and I think it's all looking good. going off of our tape marks on the frame. Yeah, laser's still level. All right. Now, I'm going to turn the lights back on and see what I'm doing. All right, after going through and doing some remeasuring, I still got the laser setting where it was. I reckon with me putting them straps here and going down there and tightening it and all that stuff, wiggle jiggle this and that, re-leveling, rechecking, the body's actually moved forward a ½ inch. I'm glad I took the time to read and measure. So that's not our center line. The little white dot there is our center line. So, we have what they call the center line scribed in our cross member. So the fun part, take a hammer and just beat the crap out of everything. I want to move this back and get the laser level on our actual center line now. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's right on the money, actually. Yeah, I look at it 100 times to be sure. Yeah, I like that. We're still level. Cross member is welded in. Yeah, I really put some nice slow burn welds on that to get a good penetration. For you welding guys, I'm using that little Hobart Handler 140 over there, and I had it on 4 with a wire speed of 40. Well, 38, 39, but close enough. But that's welded in. So now it's time for the top hats. And again, I had to do a lot of research because the basic instructions were close, but I needed to know more. So I highly suggest y'all watching videos of other people doing these. But my video should get you there. Well, alright. Y'all know that old adage, you learn from your mistakes. Well, this is one of them. I looked at several videos and some instruction sheets, blah, blah, blah. And it said this top hat is even. Even a bunch of videos seemed like everybody was running them even. So I put them on there. Guess what? That doesn't work. Let me show you the proper way to get that top hat setting. First of all, center of your hole, make a mark. I put a set of vice grips down there so I could measure up. Alright? Now do it in these steps and I think you'll be fine. From that mark there up to the bottom, which would be this bottom here since I had to cut this one off, you will measure 9 1/4 on the front. On the rear, you will measure 8 7/8. As you see, that gives it a tilt backwards, and that is the proper geometry for it. Now, to see where your top hat is supposed to sit, this is the right way to do it. Go ahead and assemble your lower control arm, put on your spindle and your upper control arm. Then, lower control arm, level, spindle, level. Then, that will donate where your top hat goes. As you can see right there, I have it dead center of the hole. That way I've got movement this way and this way in order to get alignment once the tires and suspension and weight and all that stuff's on there. Now this is the way to properly get it. As you can see, all of that geometry looks correct. Everything's level like it's supposed to be. Alright, now the fun part. I get to re-weld that. Of course, I'm going to have to do some backetry to strengthen that up since I had to recut it. And I still got to cut this one off and do the same thing over here. So let me get with that. And again, guys, read the directions and throw in a little bit of common sense. I can't believe I made a mistake such as that, but it goes to show you, nobody's perfect, especially me. I make mistakes and I learn stuff all the time. This one cost me time, but hey, it's part of it, and I want to make sure that it's right. This is the right way to set it up. Now they're welded where they need to be. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is take the sawzall, come right down through here, cut that, and take that and flip it around. And that'll be my filler piece. We're in here. Then I'll get in here and weld the insides and all that business. But yeah, this is going to work out just fine. And there we have it. She's on the level. And as you see, I made these in the center where I got plenty of slide back and forth. And if need be, you can slot these out a little more if you got it a shade off. I see no crime in that. I throwed it together and I just snugged these up so I could check my level. But I'm happy with that. And even though I had to double weld, because I had to cut that off, that really doesn't look bad at all. And even over there where I cut these triangles off and put them on, yeah, it turned out good. And yes, I did set a level back on here and make sure these were level this way before I welded them. So yeah, we done good on that. We fixed our mistake. It doesn't look bad and the strength is there, so pretty cool. Alright, so now what I'd like to do is get all of this mocked up. Now it's going to have to be taken apart, of course, so we can paint everything in there. And when we go back together, we'll put Loctite on all of our threads and so on and so forth. But I want to get this thing, like I say, mocked up where we know what's going on. First things first, we have this wild looking rotor drilled, solid, and like a clover leaf. You can see how many bolt patterns it has in it. Which is cool, so you can use it for whatever you're doing. But it came with studs. I got 5-inch studs. Now, how do you figure out which bolt pattern you need? Well, sure, there's a chart somewhere, but let's do it the easy way. Here's the rotor off the rear. That's our bolt pattern. Light. Just spin this around. So we get 5 of them that are perfect. That is perfect. The first 5 look good. You can tell they were just a shade off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like I say, that just makes it easy. All right, now I'm going to take a big hammer. And I'm going to leave this rotor under here and get these slammed in where they belong. Outstanding. So, there we go. Now, next thing we want to do is our rear bearing. You always tell the rear inside from the front because it is bigger. It's already raised in there. So you open up your new bearing. Just take the brace off of it. Since I got to pack these bearings and everything, and I'm not going to do that right now. I just don't feel like getting greasy. I'm not going to be putting a rear seal in. Normally you pack this bearing and then take this rear seal and then stop it. Like I say, all I want to do is get this thing together, mocked up, and then when we put it in permanent, we'll do all the particulars. Front bearing with the Allen bearing. And again, there's a race already on here, so take protective stuff off. Don't throw that away, you'll need it later when you take it back apart and all that jazz. Alright, then you got a nut, a washer, and the package. Comes like this. You got 2 nuts, two washers, 2 keepers, and 2 cotter pins. But for this, all we need is just basic nut and washer. Now, let's go ahead and silver. Got some bird on there. Then like I say, that's good enough for this assembly. We'll set this other rotor over yonder. Alright, and there is a dust cap that goes on here as well that we're not going to install at the moment. Now, I have not found any, I would say, good instructions putting on the caliper hardware and all of that business. So this may be one of the things we just have to figure out for ourselves. Alright, got my caliper here. Bolts. See how it's going to fit. Yeah, at least they sent you loaded calipers. You get everything here that you need. The way that bracket goes apparently because those hold the caliper there and it's square. Now we have this bracket here. That's for our arm to go on for steering. Let's get in there and see what we can see. See, one guy said it goes right there in that center hole. But that doesn't seem correct to me. Another guy was using some kind of spacer. I see we've got a spacer here. I bet you spacers for length. Well, if I put this right here, seems to bolt up, but I don't know if that's sitting up too high. I mean, that's really, that I can say that's really the only place to put the thing. We'll we'll say that it goes there for now. Yeah, I know that other bolt should have got a washer too up here. But like I say, this is just a preliminary to check it out. Okay. Well, that looks sort of correct. Alright, I believe that's the way that goes together. I say at this point, I'm going to run over there to the other side right quick. And then we'll get our tabs welded in and bolt up our rack and pinion and see how it fits. Got the other side assembled, no problem, we're very quick. Now we have these stands here that we have to weld on. There are marks scribed already for us, so that's really nice. If I get the camera where you can see them. One there, that's where that one goes. This one goes from here to here. So, I'm gonna get them welded on. And then this is our rack and pinion. We'll get it bolted up there and just see how this is gonna work out. Alright, got them welded on there really nice. Went ahead and got them primered and got the rack bolted on. So, looking good. Let's let her down some and get our outer tie rods assembled. Alright, here's our outer tie rod. And there is a grease fitting. Goes right there. Just screw that on there and just tighten her up. Alright, take the blue thing off. Basically just spin this bad boy on. Until you get to where it will go up on your piece right here. And I think these go up from the bottom. Don't run out of threads on that one. Tight top. How you can move that, put a nut on there. You just tap it around where you think you need it. What I'm basically doing is just trying to eyeball this straight. Close enough. I'm not hammering stuff on here and cutting the crap out of nothing. I'm saying this is just for test purposes. And I'll show this to you probably at the some point. I'd put all this on properly. Basically, you would tighten this down, put the cotter key in here. Of course, once you get your toe set, this right here will tighten up, be like a lock nut to that there. Cool. And this is the inner tie rod. You actually grab this here, spin it back and forth, and that will lengthen or shorten this right here when it's on the vehicle. Alright, let me throw the other side on right quick. And there we go. One basic front end, minus a coil spring and a shock. Go ahead and fighting that coil spring until it's time to actually put it in there. But yeah, it all fits good. Seems to. be where it's supposed to be. It lines up. Nothing's hitting. Yeah, of course, when this thing comes down, with a spring in it, the suspension will come down a lot more. So it won't be so close. Now, rubber boots got room there, but one over here, sort of close to the frame, which if you look, sort of weird. It's a big rubber boot there and a small one there. Hey, whatever they throw at you, that's what you get apparently. But that ain't no big deal. That'll go down and that'll never hit that frame, that's for sure. Alright, well cool. We got our front end mocked up and I am super happy about that. Well, I reckon that's going to wrap up part one of the independent front suspension install. I mean, that pretty much got it all taken care of. That's all we need to do, of course, is take everything apart and I'll get all of this coated and everything before we put it all back together for permanent. And like I say, on all of our threads, we use Loctite. We'll get our bearings greased and packed really well, get the seal in there, get everything set up how it's supposed to be 100%. I want to turn the rack and make sure that it's in the center. Then I can go ahead and get a rough set on my toe as well. And at that point, when we put it back together, we'll put in the coil spring and the shock. Only thing I'm not sure of is that shock. Let me show it to you. There we go. I mean, it's probably good quality shock and it goes well with the system, but green? Come on. There's nothing on this car that's going to be green except for probably the antifreeze. That's it. I am really thinking about scuffing these up and painting them before I put them in there. Y'all throw down in the comments what you think. Just no green. Let's do them what, a basic black, and they'll just blend in. We'll wait and see what rear shocks I get so all the shocks match even if we got to paint them. But throw down in the comments what you think we should do about these ugly green shocks. But in the meantime, keep your eyes and ears open for more videos on this. We're making great progress and I'm having a ball doing it. Well, again, thanks for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it and hopefully you learned a little bit of something. I know I did. If you would, throw us down some comments. If you're able, hit up that super thanks below and please like, share, and subscribe. Again, appreciate it much. Till the next one, we hope that everyone has a fantastic day.